Watch about 3 or 4 lines back. And the 78 definitely moved to the inside. Don't know if he had any help. Maybe it turned him sideways right into his teammate, the 98 of Gus Dean, that pushed him back up the racetrack right in front of the pack.
Look at Kevin Thomas Jr. in that 22, gets minimal damage, middle of your screen. This is a kid that had never raced on a facility bigger than a half-mile prior to today, and that was a pretty nice save by him.
You can't tell from that angle whether the 78 got a little bit of contact that turned him around down into the inside line where he collected his teammate, Gus Dean. See all these drivers, that you see all that smoke. It's way worse from racetrack level.
Think about Greg Alding, Frank Kimmel, some of those drivers. Brett Hudson would have started right in the middle of the pack, probably been collected, dropped to the rear, and I don't think any of them got any damage.
Boy, it almost looked like there might have been a little bit of contact right there to turn that 78 sideways. If there would have been an opening down to the inside, he probably would have got away with it, but not this early in the race.
On board
no
with Gus
openings.
Dean. That's Cole Powell on the outside.
Look at the rear of that car. Look how close the 83 is. Derek Lancaster. Definitely contact from behind that sent him down across the racetrack.
That's unfortunate because those cars have been fast, not only this weekend, but were really good when we tested here in January. See what it looked like from the view of Sarah Cornett-Ching on board here.
Dylan Lupton, the 82, to her inside. You see, just blipped the throttle for just a second, and that quickly she was by the incident. See her waving out the window to the cars behind her.
Sean Corr, one of those that just missed getting involved.
Dylan Lupton as well in the 82 car.
And look at all the cars way back behind him that were able to avoid the accident. Unofficially, there were 9 cars involved in an accident 3 laps in here at Daytona. Talked about it. They've not used it. They were forced to because of the slower vehicle, Mark Thompson, and it just didn't work out into turn 1.
See, all these guys want to try to get down as low as they can. The 83 of Lancaster made contact with the 66 of Thompson, and Mark tried his best to save that car, but had to use a little bit more racetrack to do it. See, they've already made a little bit of contact. You see Dylan, somehow he's going to avoid that. He was right smack in the middle of that in the 82 car, and somehow was able to.
So many guys with that inexperience. Here's the reason we're under caution for the second time today. Mark Thompson, black 66, 3 laps down. They were going around him. Derek Lancaster getting the bad end of it. Matt Kurziewski also getting plenty of damage when he hit the outside wall. Under caution, 20 laps in the Lucas Oil 200 on FS1.
Over something, did a nice job, I'm sure, keeping that car out of the wall. Watch him. You see, he probably felt like he had a problem because he dropped behind the pack. You see that tire come apart there. Look at that. Wow, around it goes.
Let's go on board with Tom Hessert and listen as he goes to turn 3.
You could hear him a little bit before it actually went. He did an amazing job. Got completely sideways. Did an amazing job of not getting into the outside wall with that car.
In the championship chase, and we see Weatherman now way to the high side. And
Bobby Hamilton Jr. involved with this team as an owner and sometimes driver. That name's synonymous with Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. His dad, Bobby Hamilton, and Bobby Jr. Just right at the apex of turn number 2, and you cross over. It's almost like you're changing lanes, and there's an angled road lane, and there's a flat lane, and there's another flat lane.
Yeah, with 50 to go before they change tires, but we've got just about 70 to go now, and I'm not. Oh, we've got a car in trouble. The 38's got some smoke coming out of the rear of that one. Sheldon Creed looks like he may be in trouble, and yes, he gets up into the wall after that.
Boy, he put down some kind of fluid or something the way he skated with all 4 tires into the fence.
I'll tell you what, if Chase Briscoe's able to get up here and compete in this thing, they're going to go crazy. Contact once again, both of those cars sideways.
1 and 2. This is that contact. It looks like the yellow or the bright yellow car maybe gets in the back of Gerhardt, and he ran into the side of John West, and we ran several laps, but I think he probably had a slow leak or a fender.
And they're 4 wide right there when he makes contact with Holmes driving that number 23.
Watch the left side of your screen. Brett never even backed off when he made that contact, but we're going to have to keep an eye on number 4. Again, he's right next to the double yellow line, but you watch these cars get together. 0-2 of Andy Seiss, the 59 of Corbin Forrester. I thought we'd gotten through it.
Yeah.
I thought we'd...
Thompson back in about 17th. John West Townley out of this race, and Josh Williams with 1. Now we look back there, you see Terry Jones is on the high side. Oh, and Bo got tapped, looked like maybe by Krzyzewski, eh?
Yeah, and here comes Terry Jones. He runs into Cushman, as well as possibly even Bo in the 42.
7 or 8 cars got through that pretty well, though. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, this will be a good view right here. Watch about 6-8 rows back.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody got into the back of Bo, and it turned him sideways, got into the outside safer barrier, and then bounced off and into these other cars.
Yeah, it was Krzyzewski right behind him, I believe, and here's the onboard.
There's a bump right there. He actually picks the rear wheels up off the ground, and it turned the nose of Bo's car to the outside, and then he lost so much momentum that Matt really gave him a shot.
The good news was when Bo's car got turned sideways, he didn't hit the inside line of guys. So 6 or 7 cars, including Bobby Gerhart, did not get torn up because Bo did a nice job there.
Yeah, tough break for the guys involved, though, Cushman as well as Terry Jones. Going to ride along in the 58 car. You see there's the bump and into the outside wall.
Here is the first look at this as we see Krzyzewski coming up there, and it looks like the 22 of Boswell is on his bumper, and all 3 cars are locked together as Bobby Gerhart's in the front.
There's the contact right there. That shoves Bobby down under the double yellow line. Now he's got to get back in position. It looks like maybe Dalton Sargent got into the 14 car and turned him around.
Yeah, Dustin Knowles hit that wall very, very hard with the right front, and a couple of times spinning around on the safer barrier.
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with Bobby Gerhart getting back out in line. It looks like maybe the 66 of Dalton Sargent just barely nudged the 14 of Knowles, put him in the outside wall.
And when Gerhart and Krzyzewski were side by side, that's what clipped the front end of Corbin Forrester, and Forrester goes down into the inside safer barrier.
Here, let's take another look back behind that.
Oh,
see,
no,
Dalton Sargent got turned into the inside wall. Bobby Gerhart was just trying to go by on the inside. He got into the inside wall as well as the 66 of Sargent.
Yeah, I apologize. That was Mark Thompson right in front of those guys. You can see Thompson on the right here, and there goes Bobby Gerhart. They're side by side. Here comes the 66, and all across the front of the hood, the 66 goes in.
Yeah, that was Mark
wall.
Thompson, not Dalton Sargent.
Yep.
Dalton Sargent was in the 55. Ooh.
The sound of a car hitting the wall at 180 miles an hour. Certainly here, and we'll watch for the lights on the outside. On the left side, you see the angle all the way down the back straightaway, and on the right, you see these 2 cars. Josh is clearly ahead right there.
Yeah, watch the lights now. When the lights turn yellow.
Green, there's the crash. 1, 2, 3, and the yellow.
There's the yellow. No doubt that the 98 of Gustine was ahead when the caution light came out. You see Chase Briscoe was ahead, or was in the 3rd spot right there. And
He's number 69. Here's a look at what happened as they got together. Finney apparently had a little bit of contact there on the left rear of the DK Lock Ford, and Frater spins it out. That brings out yellow number 2 today here at Toledo.
Finney had a stronger car, just had a punch there, and it took the 9.
And as we take a look here, under the Ditech sign, down low, it was Cicerelli. Looked like he may have gotten the right sides completely off into the apron.
Yeah, he may have kept that car out of the wall. Certainly did. So good job by him to keep that thing out of the wall.
So we'll bring out our second caution of the day. So our pit stop strategies now.
Take a look maybe what caused that. See, probably a little bit of contact from the 98 of Brady Boswell.
And that's right in the center of the tunnel turn.
Yeah, that turn is a little bit challenging by yourself.
Yep.
Without being too wide or getting a little bit of help like it looked like Will got.
So Boswell with a little bit of contact. Now let's take a look on our onboard for Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, this is our General Tire onboard. We're going to watch along here. You see, it looked like Brady got his left sides down below the yellow line. It's pretty rough right over the tunnel there, so looked like he maybe lost a little bit of grip.
Roll this thing a little bit slower and we can see.
Yeah, there's definitely some contact there. It looked like Brady got down. His left side's below the yellow line. It's really rough. The lower you go, the rougher it is over the tunnel. And looks like he lost maybe the front end and got into Will's left rear corner. But right side of your screen, you're going to see Will into the outside wall.
Hey, and how about how great it is to see that safer barrier there right now?
Yeah, without a doubt. You saw some of the styrofoam that actually is between the metal safer barrier and the outside concrete wall fly out of the wall. That's how hard Will hit that thing.
Well, the crew will have to go out there and clean up the debris. The number 69 of Will Kimmel.
Hey, things changed in a hurry for qualifying. 3 different cars finding trouble. Nick Higdon here in the 08 machine spinning here. Not a lot of track time yesterday. Nick was one of the few that did not get a lot of track time. The car was being finished. This is Myatt Snyder. He was the fastest car in practice. He had an issue in qualifying as well.
So they set the field by practice, and we saw Bo Lamastis, another guy who had a bit of a problem earlier today. We had live Xfinity practice this afternoon. That's why ARCA decided not to continue with that. But the guys are getting onto the grid right now and ready to go. You know, we were poking.
What an impressive start with these young, fast drivers. Oh, we have a spin, right? Looks like the 51 of Chad Finley has gone around.
Oh, and he's right at the entrance to pit road, but it appears that he will not make contact with anything. Green flag racing under our first caution of the day here at Michigan, and we'll move car number 8 to the point. Led the most laps at Pocono, and now for the second time today, he is in the wall here at Michigan.
Travis Braden's on the inside. Braden moves up a little bit. No, nothing to do with that whatsoever. He just got off the gas or something crazy happened where he had to adjust the steering in that car. That's not the place to do it on corner exit.
Sheldon Creed did a nice job of missing this, and right after Snyder got into the wall, the number 19 of David Sear from La Jolla, California, looks like he may have gone
back here at what happened on the initial start. Here these guys come out of turn number 4. We see the green flag is out.
He just never gets going.
No. And it looks like it was the DK Lock Ford of Thomas Prater right behind him who did make that contact with him for the second time as we had a spin over in turn number 2. Number 64 rolling through there, no contact for sure, but it looks like Mike Seneca just got her a little bit loose, looped around. Luckily, he didn't hit the wall.
Dixon Motorsports teammate Rick Tackman to the bottom. Did not appear.
We were looking at turn number 4. There's the 6. That's our leader, Josh Williams. The 10 of Ed Pompa coming through the center of the corner, and a little bit of contact there. It looks like maybe Weatherman just got just a tiny bit in a hurry to go around the 10, and the 10 came up off the bottom line.
And Ed Pompa wanted to get out of the way, but as he went down, he went.
Here we go.
front straightaway. The number 10 has hit the wall significantly.
Dick Doheny also damage on the number 22 of.
We didn't do that tonight.
We didn't do that at all. Let's see if we can take a look at what happens. You see Benjamin goes from the inside, but it looked like Chase Briscoe was slow on the start, and that really stacked them up. See the 19 doing a nice job of boarding Tom Hessert. Watch from the Ford onboard right here.
Yeah, we're on with A.J. Fike, and man, in front of you, you just see that kind of havoc. You got to hit the brakes for sure. I think you're right. It looked like to caution. This happened.
Yeah, he was riding along here. That's Chase Briscoe, the 77. Right front tire went down. He did a great job getting that car slowed down enough not to make real hard contact with a safer barrier.
If you look back in the distance here, you'll see as he slides up into the wall, Briscoe comes by. Weatherman has to go to the pits, and what I meant to say was right as we went to commercial.
Right now.
There's a replay, Phil. We see on the left side of your screen, there's the 25. He's way up high on the racetrack, but all of a sudden she starts twitching, and that looks like it might have been a right rear that went down.
Well, it looked like he just got a little bit loose getting in that corner, Ray, because when he came by, it looked like maybe the right rear tire was up on that car. This is from Josh Williams' car. You see Josh, he sees the 25, gets back in the throttle to get by in case Tom comes down the racetrack.
One more view here as we look from the corner, and you see, oh, he's sliding sideways, and we'll have to see if we can find out from the pit area what exactly happened to Tom Hessert, but he brings out our second yellow of the night on lap 126.
I caught a glimpse right there, and it looked like the right rear tire. Pit and put tires on now.
On board with the general tire on board of Myatt Snyder, and you see Ray just spins her out there coming through the center of 3 and 4.
The opportune time as we see some of our lead lap cars go by race this early. Come in, put those right side tires 20 laps to go. Right. Too early to do it. See Dalton Sargent trying to get by Kurzieski they were racing for the free pass.
So as the 55 spins out over there in turn number 2, it brings out another yellow, and we're going to take a quick caution for the crew chiefs. And here's a look at what happened to Finney. He cut down just a little bit to the left and made contact there with the 78 of Gus Dean, and around he goes.
Yeah, Gus Dean is one of our lead lap cars. Here's Gus Dean right here. You see him change lanes. You saw the white stripes on the racetrack, and he turned left to try to get a good run off the corner, and Gus Dean was there. Nothing Gus Dean could do to prevent that.
On board with our Gree cooling products, on board with Gus Dean, and that gave you a pretty good shot of it. And keep in mind, AJ Fike was to the outside of Gus Dean. He had nowhere to go to the high side, even if he tried to avoid that.
Yeah, it looked like Brian Finney just
his race car.
Yeah, Haley as well. Let's take a look now. You see Dalton Sargent get into Travis Miller in the 8, but behind them is where the trouble's going to be. You see the inside contact with the wall for Dalton Sargent.
But right behind that group, a few of them came in there and made some pretty significant contact. There you see the 55 spinning. He goes down in front of Hesser.
Yeah, you see Dylan Martin, the 48, turns around, and these guys lock the brakes up, the 2 of Cicerelli. And a lot of these guys like Haley and Boswell had already committed to the high side.
Right.
And you can't just stop these things on a dime, Ray, and turn left and avoid them.
Well, look at all the skid marks. These guys were hard on the brakes.
Yeah, watch, we're going to ride along with Gus Dean. He gets turned around. He got hit in the back and turned around. That may have been the best thing could happen to him.
With no damage there.
With no damage, you see that flew out of there. Let's see if we can tell which car that comes out of.
Looks like it might be
Kersieski's.
Ansel Menard's Toyota has lost that. Certainly what it appeared, and he was running back about 7th.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we've confirmed it.
Yeah, Donnie Richardson's going to have to bring Kersieski into the pit road, and as you mentioned, Ray, he's going to have a window in that car, so hopefully they have a spare and it didn't mess up the mount. Yeah, that's just a duct that was hooked to that side window.
Here is car number 98 coming into the pits, Phil.
Yeah, he looks like he's able to slow a little bit, but man, oh man, wasn't quite able to get it stopped. And look at the contact he made with our Jackman and front tire changer.
We have an onboard from Gree Cooling Products, and we see that Pedro Martinez, who is the tire changer, got up immediately. Now from onboard, look at this. John had the jack in his hand, and they tried to make evasive action of some kind, but Gus wasn't able to stop at all, and you saw that car completely spin around.
But those guys had the presence of mind to jump when that car got to him, Ray, and I'm telling you, I guarantee you that was a whole lot better situation than if they would have been flat-footed on the ground.
And that's a look at John going to the ambulance. Once again, it's John House, who is the jack man, and Pedro Martinez. They will be taken to the infield care center for evaluation, but the fact that he was able to stand up and walk to the ambulance, that is a quarter of the way through the race. As we take a look at what happened to Corey, looks like...
Oh, yeah, a lot of different speeds going on here. John Westowney committed to the bottom. The 14 car was already there. Looked like he might have been trying to get the pit road. That's the entrance to the pit road right there. He's made that pass, a very dominant run. Now he's got the number 9, Thomas Prater, just ahead. Oh, the 5th.
Not sure if that had anything to do with it, but here goes Hester. Oh no, it's contact.
Townley went right through the corner there.
Yeah, John West plowed in there. Looks like that's what got got the 25 of Hessert sideways. He rolls up in there, and look, Landon Huffman is on the high side and absolutely nowhere to go. The 22 of Weatherman, it appears, pushes the 98 into the pile.
And one thing about this restart, look at how John West Townley entered the corner. It looked like the car almost rear hop, like he's on a road course that might have had some wheel spin issues with the 05, sending him up the racetrack. It's a very flat corner entry on the bottom of turn number 1, upsetting that Jive Communications Chevrolet enough to get him up into the racetrack and into the 25 of Hester.
We're
going on the ragged edge here off of turn number 2. The 6 machine of Williams gets off the corner, gets up into the 77, and they both just had so much momentum carried down the backstretch.
He is locking the brakes up right there. Look at this, side by side, through 1 and 2. Little bit of contact there. And just up the racetrack they both go. You're getting those right side tires in the marbles up there in that spot I told you can't be in. And Briscoe comes out of this pretty well because he's able to cut the wheel to the left real hard and stay up on the asphalt.
But notice Williams' car twitched to the right as he went up the banking and on the back straightaway, and that really sent him into a no-win situation. Both cars carrying so much speed to the end of February.
And we've got a car that went around. Corey Howard has made it up into the groove, and it looks like he has made.
The number 52 machine actually was on pit road a few times, and they made their way back to 11th on the racetrack before pit stops. Yeah, he's following the 55 of Tanner Thorson up to the outside of the racetrack and just lost it.
There's Schrader right behind him, who ducks down low. The car
Time on the dirt, and it's been a ride for Krzyzewski all day today. Second time spinning here, up and out of the groove.
He didn't make any contact, but you notice that as he got spun around there, somehow he was not able to get that car refired, so he is going to go down
Out of the dirt, and Williams got the lead.
And there's Jake Griffin. He's running back there in 4th position. Ryan Unzinger had gone up to 3rd, and Griffin right out of 4th spot.
Ching trying for her second top 10 run on the dirt here in the ARCA Racing Series.
Oh, Sarah's spun around. Those guys are out in the loose stuff. Looks like they may have been side by side battling. Went to go. Take another look at it as they come out of turn 2. Unzinger hooks him a bit. Williams tries to get it back to the right.
Williams might have thought he had full position on the racetrack, but Unzinger stayed on the gas on the outside of the second corner to challenge him on the outside.
Yeah, that was after they...
Take a look at our replay here. You see Krzyzewski coming in. He misses the orange cone.
Yeah, missed the commitment line as well. But again, he's already been lapped, and that may even result in another penalty because he missed the commitment line coming in.
See his roof spoilers come up there, and that, as he spins around backwards, keeps that car planted firmly on the asphalt. But we did have to go to caution for the second time. So now we have had 2 cautions today, and he's almost up to the restart zone. You see there, looks like a...
Yeah, just a right front tire went down, it looks like, Ray. Tough break for Shane Lee. We talked about Austin Cindric going 2 laps down.
It was a wild night tonight for the number 17 of Ty Majeski. Here we saw John West Townley get down to the inside, and he had that thing sideways. I thought that was a big save, but then watch this.
Yeah, what an amazing car control he has. There's a 99 of Austin Cindric that gets in to Majeski, and that's not even the best save right there either. Watch this one now.
He's got that thing 25 or 30 degrees sideways, cranks the wheel right, drives right through it, comes down to the apron, and does a great job of saving that Potawatomi Ford. And guess what? Jim Trado is in the pits, and he's...
They're a brand new race car, Brett, had all sorts of confidence, but this high on this green racetrack, not going to work out so well as he came through the corner and simply lost grip here, Ray.
Kyle Weatherman right in the middle of the racetrack. Holmes did a nice job on the early driving of that thing, but when you're up that high on the track, just
last year, Ray, running all the races, and this is where her ride was, as leader Shane Lee was right next to her.
Yeah, and he got into the quarter panel, and as she brushed that outside wall, it was the big hit that happened down on the inside safer barrier that caused all of that damage to the front end of her Dickey's Toyota. And that car, Jim, is absolutely junk in every part. Shane Lee to the outside, just the slightest amount of contact, got her sideways, and watch this inside hit.
That track gets so narrow off of turn number 2. That had been a problem spot with the old pavement, and here again, let's take it right on board with Sarah. Going around another car a bit slower, trying to stay in her racing mode, and in the lead lap, and that's all it took right there. One touch for the left front fender of our race leader, Shane Lee, on the outside.
Man, that was absolutely a wallop to the inside wall. She's had, this is her 8th start tonight, 1 top 10, but that car is going to be headed to the junk pile. Sarah Cornett Ching brings out our second caution right here at Kentucky Speedway. More right after these messages.
Here's at Daytona just a couple seasons ago.
Well, we got a look at Mark Thompson there as he gets down off the racing surface, spins it around. No big damage to on the track, and here's a look at what we saw. Shearer looked like he had a flat right rear tire, Phil.
Yeah, it looked like, because all of a sudden he just jumped sideways there right at the exit of turn number 4, had a car go.
Much luck.
See, there's Albert coming off of turn number 2. See the 77 really loose, makes a little bit of contact with his teammate, the 99 of Cindric, but he's lost all his momentum. See Myatt Snyder, now they're 4 wide as they enter the corner. Chase comes down a little bit, they make a little bit of contact, loosens up the 22 of Snyder.
Boy, I thought he was going to be able to save it on that very first time, but then the car just got away. And as he goes up the racetrack, it appeared that Josh Williams must have made some contact with, somebody. That
looked
might
like
have been
Brett Holmes.
Yeah,
the
Brett
23
Holmes.
car and the 10 of Weatherman got together.
And it just takes that little bit of contact to be loose, and man, was there heavy contact. Here it goes again, guys.
See him get loose there on the inside of the 55.
And when it happens, it just bottles up the whole field behind him. And, you know, you see the 32 has to lift so much. And when you go 4 wide in the corner, and I don't think the 77 even knew that they were going to be in that position. He's looking to his outside right now.
Yeah, I don't think he realized that they were double file underneath him. Came down a little bit, got into Myatt, Some guys really did a nice job getting. Watch Majeski in that 17. He's going to turn hard right, completely missed Snyder. You see Mason Mitchell, the 98 Shane Lee going by on the inside. Gus Dean all the way to the outside wall, into the outside wall to avoid running into the 22. Austin Cindric missing Myatt, but there's the contact right there. Hard hit for Kyle Weatherman.
So Brett Holmes, there's Josh Williams. He comes rolling through on that initial shot going so fast. I thought he was right behind Weatherman, but he was able to miss that completely. But boy, heavy damage in every corner for car number 10. We're certainly thinking about Kyle Weatherman as he limped away from his race car to go to the ambulance.
Here it is at real time. It's amazing the speeds these cars get here.
Majeski gets by, Gus Dean gets by, and hard contact for Kyle Weatherman. Morgan Baird slides in there along with Nick Higdon, and all those guys get a little bit of damage from the aftermath of this crash between car 10 and 22.
Looked like maybe Kyle Weatherman came down to the apron and then he saw the 34 of Mike Basham and had to avoid him.
May not have been enough. He's already in the wall here, and we see the sparks. So Gus Dean's night very well may be over, as he was still on the lead lap. And let's go on the onboard with him here. See that Palmetto State sticker, and boy, that was a pretty hard hit.
Yeah, just along for the ride when you cut down the right front tire.
That's all you can do. And you hear it. When it's down, it hits the racetrack, and you just hear it skip. And it's a helpless feeling.